Hi folks, good morning. So what are we going to do this weekend? Don't know. There's a lot of little bits and pieces we can do. So this episode's probably going to be a bit of a mishmash. I'm going to get in and try and redo a different patch to put in this part where the antenna was. I don't like it. That patch is so small that it's actually kind of flat in the curves of the top of the fender. So I'm going to try and make a bigger one that follows the profile of the curve a bit more. And then what I managed to find over the last few weeks, actually I didn't find it, I was talking about it and wifey was looking around online and shopping online and found these on Amazon. So they were decent price and they're US made, so finally got a set of 1/8 Clekos. So what we're going to do is make a patch that'll actually fit a bit better, follow the curves better instead of being so flat and having to run filler on it, and Cleko it in diagonal corners, and then do a slice and splice into there so it'll actually sit down flush, and we'll tack it all the way around that way. So we'll give that a shot, see if I can make them work. The other thing we've got to do is, we don't have to do it, but it's something we're going to play around with. We got some stainless pipe, and the goal here is, if this thing had stopped shadowing on us, we're going to run a 45 on the end, and we've got two pieces to do. So we're going to make a pair of lake pipes to go up under the sill for Dylan's car. I reckon the front is probably going to sit, guessing by what I measured on the fender, there where the turn-in goes. So I'll tack weld that on first, and then choose the length we're going to go, and then we'll put the 45 on the end down here, and then the idea is to do a cut across it so it opens it up to an oval exit and make them both the same length, and then we're going to tuck them up under the sill so they don't hang out and protrude too far. So for them we're going to try and use, if I've got the right size one, these that I managed to pick up from where are they? SS Customs tacking bands. They were on display at Motorex. So what I'm going to do is get you guys popped up here. I'm going to cut a bigger piece, run it through the slip roller, try and match it into the profile of there. If I can do that, then we'll mount it up and get you in when we start cutting and splicing it in. Okay, so what we've got is a piece of scrap that I cut and put through the roller, and fits that part there really well, but we need to bring it up onto the flatter section. So what we're going to do is try and go about here, because that curve is close to what we want, and just manipulate it a little. We're getting there. We only want to use this section of it here. Still got to take some of it out. Fits nice that way. That way there we've got to shallow it out a little bit through there. Without having this move around too much. Alright, we're close. But I'll go see if I can find a sandbag or something to pop that on and flex it down a bit more. Okay, so the little patch that we've done was a bit of scrap that I cut off a sheet, thinking, we'll give it a shot first. We put it through the slip roller, had too much profile on it, so then we flattened it out, and obviously we've cut it oversize. But now, if we get this into a spot, where is it? It's going to sit about there. So if we sit there, that follows the profile of the fender close enough there. This way it sits money, and that side it sits good. So that is pretty much ready to trim to size and clip on there. So what we're going to do now is work out how large we want to cut it, and grab a couple of Clekos and just pop them in the corners, and then we'll start trimming to fit. Okay, so I don't have any 1/8 drill bits, funnily enough. Everything in here is metric, so I've got a 3mm or a 3.3. So I'm running a 3mm through there and then just going to waller it out a little bit, and it'll work for now. All right. And that's our piece ready to cut to fit and weld on. So, excuse the lighting, I've tried turning it off a bit so it doesn't flash on the screen. So that's all snug through there, snug through there. We'll get ready to make our cuts. Okay, so there's our first slice. So now I'm going to run down the side here to let that sit in, and then we'll get it tapped. Move the guard a bit. Is it going to be? Yeah. Maybe move you guys a bit so I can get comfortable. there. So that, alright, so we've got that top corner there to fit flush down to about there and there. So I'm going to get the welder set up, we'll get that in flush, tack that corner, push along a little bit and tack that corner, and we can tack halfway along there. Then I should be able to take that one out, cut down to there, get that all flushed away, and then we'll probably do, I'll have a think about it, probably do the bottom slice, leaving that last one in. Okay, let's give this a shot, see if it's going to work. Nice. Move a little bit further along to about there. Cool. Don't have to push too hard. So what we'll do, turn the welder off and I'll slice that back a bit further into there to relax it a bit. And then it should lay down in for us. Okay. So now we can go just on the crest there. Nice. Alright, we'll pop that Cleko out. Cleko, whatever you want to say. And this helmet. Yep. Okay, so now a lot of people will say you can't planish a MIG weld, and if you're using high tensile wire, no, you can't. Even if you're using low tensile wire, they are still harder than a TIG weld or an oxy weld. But I've got the wire I use is a mild steel, because it is mainly panel work type stuff that I do. So yes, cheap cheesy hammer that's not a great face anyway, so it doesn't matter if it marks it a little. You can planish the welds out if I get the right curve on the dolly. Cool. Just needed a tiny bit after where that last tack was to get that to sit where I want it. Cool. I reckon I'm ready to release that one down there. So we'll take out that Cleko. Tighten this up a bit because it's bugging me. So if we release that, that'll do for now, and that'll get us all the way to the corner. Now, we'll cut that final corner out. The battery didn't have enough for that last bit. Right. Okay, so that's flushed in pretty much all the way around. A little bit of a low spot there that I'll dress up before we tack it all. I'm just going to flip this over so we can pry the piece out that we've cut off. As long as I haven't done anything silly like tack it to the underside. There it goes. Yep. One tack's got it. So we'll just and finish working that out. Okay. Oh, come on. Another one down the bottom. Release that one. And there's our piece out that we had to get rid of. Alrighty. So now, I'm going to toss this helmet for a second. And what I have to do is, just down in there, dress it a little bit. Okay. Flip you back over. So that needs just a little pry up. About there. Yep, that'll do. Alright, so we're ready to start going along and tacking the rest of that in. Move you guys over a bit that way. And hopefully I don't get in the road of the camera. Earth cap on. So I'm going to gently just give that a little bit of a tweak. Till we're happy with it. just got this little piece here. Needs a little bit of a touch up. And we gave those last two tacks a bit of a tap with the hammer and the dolly as well, just to release a little bit out of them. That's just got to go down a touch. And that's it. So where we are now with that is I'll get the flat disc or a sanding disc and just hit down the tacks so they're flush. We'll dress it with a hammer and dolly from both sides. We've got 1/8 hole there and there to fill up, and we're right to go around and start spotting that in. And we've got a patch that follows the curve of the sheet metal. Awesome. Okay, so what I've done down here is ground all the back of the welds so that the dolly can sit on there nice and flat, and I've ground the outside of the welds as well. So I'm going to hammer and dolly all of that now while it's sitting like it is. So, and then we'll go through and finish welding it up. Right, so what we've done is flushed off the top of the welds with a sanding disc on the 4-inch grinder, and dollied all around it inside and out, so that way it's all sitting flush on where we want it. I'm going to plug the two 1/8 holes where the two Clekos were, and then start away from where they were and then do 2 tacks or 3 small tacks, leave 1 inch, 3 more tacks, leave 1 inch, and work to the corner. Then go completely opposite, do it on the other side, and then because it's such a small area, it's going to hold that heat there while it's being welded. So we'll go find something else to do, come back to it when it's cooled off, and then do another 3 till we eventually join it all the way around. So I'll get the trigger now and we'll go from there. Now I don't cool it with air. I'd rather let it cool naturally. I don't know, I just think cooling it with air that sometimes can end up making it get hard spots, and it'll make it shrink faster. So let's have a look and see. So that's our 2 Cleko holes tacked up, and now you can actually feel the heat as far as say there. Everything else is cool, so I'll probably start down this corner, and I'll go from there back this way 3 and then stop. Okay, so I know that was more than 3, but I blew a hole, so now we'll go to the next spot. And we're just laying them on top of each other and overlapping. So now we'll go up this corner. One more right there in the middle. Okay. Helped actually hit the ball, didn't it? There we go. So we'll leave it at that, let it cool, and yeah, come back to it next. Okay, so that is fully cooled now. You can touch everything by hand. So we're going to keep going. So we did the 2 1/8 holes, 3 there, 3 there, 3 there, 3 there. I'll probably start at the top corner and work down now, and do 3 and then 3 right at the bottom to join up to those ones. Leave that side, come over here and do 3 more down from the top, and maybe 3 along the bottom there to join up to that bottom lot. That gap up the top is probably a little bit messy, so it keeps blowing when you get that first initial hit, but we'll catch it as it goes along. So now we'll do from here. One's okay. This side here is cool, so we go Yep. Sitting good. That's that side's actually cooled off. So that's that corner. Top. Alrighty, we'll let that sit for there for the moment. That'll cool down and we'll keep going. Okay, so while I've been waiting for it to cool, I've filled a couple of holes around there and down the bottom that had tiny little pinholes. I've welded them up. I've come back here, and where I've marked with the Cleko, there was starting to oil can, and there's a little bit of a hollow just here from the heat already, because this is a fairly flat strip through there. So I marked that out. I dollied it up as good as I could. There's still a low spot, but I was going to have to heat shrink that because it was oil canning. I've done 3 more tacks there, a row up along the top, and that little bit there. And that actually took the oil can out. So that was enough heat to actually stop that and shrink that and tighten that back up. So this is nearly cool to touch by hand. Actually cool enough, I'd say. So I'll probably go along and do, that's starting to sink in a little bit there too. So I'll probably go along and do another little bit there, and possibly there, and then maybe up on this top corner here, and then let it cool again. So I'll grab the helmet, and we're just going to have to keep creeping up on it, and as it sinks back in, dolly it more, and then we'll see at the end when it's fully cooled whether we have to heat shrink it or the heats from the welding has been enough to keep it tight. Okay, thin spot there where I was dressing it before, so I'm going to have to fill that hole, but I'm going to let that fully cool before I go there and do that, because I don't want to put too much heat in there because it's already stretched and oil canned. That's pretty much finished. There's a gap there to do and a gap there to do once I get that hole sorted, so we'll let that fully cool. I'll plug weld that up, let that cool, and then we'll keep going around. Okay guys, got a fair bit done today, but not as much as I wanted to, because this patch on the fender's taken a bit longer, and plus all the rust on the inside of it. We've done a bit of a rough plate up here where all that was damaged and missing, and we've put a piece down on the foot down the bottom there to patch that up. Inside here is all dressed up now, so where the weld was, and we've dollied it. Where I've got the mark, that's like a low, so it's bowed in a little bit, and it's about the size of an egg. So what I'm going to try and do is we've dollied it up as much as we can get it. That part there has stretched, so we've got to try and shrink that. There's no oil canning there at the moment, so that's a good thing. So what I've done here is on the outside, that's all dressed up as well and been dollied. So that mark there is where we want to try and shrink it to tighten it up and take that low out. So what I'm gonna do, where can we put you guys? Up on here. I'm gonna get the oxy, because I've got just enough gas left, and give it a little hot spot. See if I can get this across here where it might show it. Nope. Pop this out here. So I'm going to try and put a little hot spot in there, and how I was saying before, I don't want it to cool quickly. This time I do want it to cool quickly because I want to tighten it up and shrink it up. So if I try and put some small heat around the outside, heat it in the middle, and then give it a good quench with cool air, in theory that's going to pull it tight for me. So that's ready to go. Flame set not too hot. Alright, so there's nothing. It gets hot, as it got hot, it cut it up, and then it cool it down, you can see it pull tight. the rest of the shut off, and I'll grab the dolly and see if we can just rest that down a little bit. It's a lot shallower. Okay, so we made it more shallow, but now it's oil canning again. So right down there, we'll try and get one little shrink in there, and hopefully that's all it needs to tighten it up and be good enough for our ability. Still a little shallow there. See if I can push up with the dolly. much better with my abilities, but let's see. It's really only there. Oop. Settle on. Push that out. Okay. It's not horrible. Just trying to push out on the low with the dolly without moving the damn guard around, but good enough. All right. So what we've ended up doing is tightening that spot there up, so no more oil can, which is out here. So it's not oil canning, and if we flip this over, yes, it's got a hollow in there and it's not straight, but that part of the fender was actually a little wavy because of the, what do you call it, antenna hole that was there anyway. Our patch sits in, it's flush, and follows the curve pretty well. We're going to have to fill that section anyway, so we just fill from that crease line down, and that's that back corner. The whole pinhole that was there and one down the bottom, they're all patched up, and we're good. So we're going to give that a coat of metal green for now, so it can sit until we get around to filling it, and it won't rust. And we're going to probably leave it at that for now. Okay, so we're going to leave it there for now. I didn't get as much done today as I wanted to, but the panel's good, so we've got that all plugged up. I'm going to try and get some work done in the yard that I had to catch up on and I haven't done yet. The panel's all repaired. It's ready to go into filler. I'm happy enough with that, with our abilities and the tools we've got. So I'll wrap this up here. I was going to do those lake pipes for the XK, but we'll do them in another one. And tomorrow there's a Cars and Coffees over at Eat Street Markets. We'll probably duck over there and have a look and see if there's anything worth recording over there. So till next time, thanks for tuning in. Give us a like, share and a subscribe, and see us next time. Bye.